Hey everyone, it is a beautiful sunny day here and the garden is really starting to take off. Let's go see what is going on with it. Here it is. Does it look like it's grown to you the last couple weeks? Here are the flowers, and the lilies and the echinacea are getting ready to bloom. Got some other things going. This is my little herb garden, and the oregano is pretty much past its prime and is getting ready to flower, but some other things are going in there. Got the purple basil moved over, and we'll be moving my regular basil too. Pretty soon breakfast is going to be ready here in my little raspberry patch. Those are the blackberries down there. It has been a really slow start for these tomatoes, but they're finally starting to grow. Got plenty of tomatoes on that one already. The little row of celery is starting to pop up too and doing well. And the little blueberry row. I counted these and I came up more like 12, so I'm really excited about that. The asparagus is all ferning up now, hopefully preparing for a better crop next year. And my greens, actually some of the mustard's starting to bolt, but I need to come out here probably tomorrow and get this cut and get it in the freezer. And then this little messy area here has some spinach that I'll get out. And then I'm going to till it up and we are going to plant another section of greens. There's the garlic. It's not going to be long for that. And the onions, doing great. Those tops look really nice. Here's my Swiss chard and it looks pretty good. I need to have someone come in and kind of trim it back a little bit and get some of those big leaves off. But one thing I did this year that I've not done before is I did grow some of this from seed and it's doing really well. So now I know I can do that. Cucumbers. I see a few baby cucumbers on there and I eat them when they're little anyway, so it shouldn't be long. And here are my peppers. They've also been off to a pretty slow start this year, but they're starting to take off too. And I'll be fertilizing them here in a few days. I bet you're wondering where the green beans are, right? Look at this mess. We have planted green beans in here twice. It is being overtaken by horseradish, and I've only had maybe one, two, I think I've got 3, 4 green bean plants that have come up. Hey, there's another one. We've been having trouble having them come up this year. So the other day we got everything out of this raised bed and Steve planted some more in here, and I see there's a couple coming up. It looks like something's happening with the seeds, so hopefully third time's a charm and we are going to get some green beans out of this year. Look at those carrots going. They look great. Really pleased with how they're doing, and this is going to be tilled up and we're going to plant some more on this side. Here's a little weed mess. And in there are still some lettuces that need weeded desperately, some of the Swiss chard, and in those little containers are some basil that's ready to be transplanted. And last but not least in this garden, here are the zucchini and the summer squash. Got a couple of each on those plants. And this is something, this is pumpkin or butternut squash. I'm going to have to see what it is first because I didn't make myself a note of which one it was. And I had 2 hills and one keeps getting eaten by rabbits. So who knows which one rabbits like best? Do they like pie pumpkins or do they like butternut squash? Because something they keep eating. All right, here's one last look at it before we go check out the back. Now back here is interesting because it was completely overtaken with weeds. And as I've mentioned before, there's no weeding for me happening right now. So it is up to Steve and Zoe to help me with this. And Steve is not real big on getting down on his hands and knees and hand pulling every weed like I usually do. So let me show you what we did this year. And it actually gives me a lot of hope that in the future I'm going to be able to continue to garden on this kind of a scale and make things a little bit easier on my back. Here is the back garden. Things are coming up pretty well, including some of the grass. If you see this little path here where the shovels are, that is what this entire broccoli patch was starting to look like. It was pretty hopeless looking. So when we came out to weed, it was pretty obvious that nobody was going to do a very good job getting that stuff out. So we brought out the little mantis tiller and finally used it for what it's worth. And Steve was just able to go up and down the rows, which for whatever reason is not something I normally do. And look what a good job it did. So while my method has usually been to mulch and till, I feel that in the future I'm going to be able to do some row gardening here and just have to till in between the rows. It does a great job. There is the first little brassica butterfly I've seen this year, which never bodes well for my broccoli as far as having those green worms in it. The broccoli is coming along really well. We're not quite flowering yet, but it should be fairly soon. Look at that nice row of cabbage. I'm not sure I have seen cabbage do this well in several years. Sweet potatoes, they're still holding their own. Some of them did survive, so these are also on the Be Fertilized list for this week, and hopefully they'll start to take off and do pretty well yet this year. There are all the potatoes, and we are done hilling them up. They are just gonna grow now. And back there in the back are the sunflowers. Got a couple renegade ones that came up from last year too that I'm going to let grow. And there's one last look at that garden. I still think I'm going to do my little wheat patch when that broccoli comes out. We'll see if I'm up to it. It was definitely a little questionable this year between all the rain and the cold weather. Everything got in really late in the garden, but it looks like we're just a little bit behind, and here pretty soon, hopefully in a week or so, we're going to be able to have some cucumbers and maybe some raspberries and things starting to come in. I can't wait. I will catch you guys the next time. Thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't and hit that bell so you don't miss any of our videos.